Hello Sagittarius, welcome to this reading. We're going to be taking a look at the current energy for the sign of Sagittarius for the week of September 5th. Now do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. All right, Sagittarius, let's go ahead and see what we have going on for you. Now I am using the Mermaid Tarot as well as the Keepers of the Light Oracle deck. There are links to all of these decks in the description below if you'd like to pick them up for yourself. Do hope you're doing well. Hope things are going good for you, Sagittarius. Let me just make sure we're all set up here and in view, and then we'll get right into it. I do have to say the vibe of the first 5 cards that you have here, Sagittarius, are different from the other signs. You have a couple of cards here that one has been showing up for a lot of people, which is this Queen of Wands, but some of the other cards, different vibe here. So, all right, let me make sure we're set up, and I think that's looking just about good enough to me. So, Sagittarius, definitely some type of queen energy here showing up, right? We have these 2 queens. I don't attach gender to the cards. I just read energies, and so this would be a feminine energy. But I do think that regardless of what type of energy this is, I do think that there are people here that are in this sort of crosshairs for you right now. In this week, I think that, you know, there could be an emphasis on the different people that show up in your life in this week. I think that there might be some type of conflict that you need to mediate between you and another person here. The reason I say that is you have the 2 queens, but in between that you have the 2 of swords, right? And you can see that these 2 people on the 2 of swords are in the middle of a conflict. I do think that this will be communication related. We are in a Mercury, or we will be going into a Mercury retrograde here very soon, and we're looking at this week that will start the Mercury retrograde. So nothing to fear, but I do think that it may be a good time to sort of slow down in terms of your communication and maybe even not jump to conclusions. Sagittarius is also another thing that I feel like saying here. Let's just go ahead and dive in and talk about what we see here. So the Queen of Swords in the overall situation, this is about, you know, on one hand, if this is an aspect of yourself, this says that you have an incredible ability to put deep focus towards something. This is somebody who's extremely focused on their goals, their outcomes, and so on, that so much so that they will do whatever it is that they need to do to get the job done or get the task done. I like to call the Queen of Swords the assassin in the tarot, because they will go after their goal or their target without any sort of hesitation. And I say that in a good way. And so the Queen of Swords can get a lot of stuff done. The other thing about this Queen of Swords is, now, in the more challenging aspect of the Queen of Swords, this can be somebody who does not mince words, okay? This is somebody who does not mince words. And they can be they can be cutthroat in their conversation. They can sort of tear you to shreds with their sword when it comes to their verbal communication. If you cross a Queen of Swords, there's no going back. Right? That's the type of energy. That's the kind of archetype of the Queen of Swords. So, I'm not saying, basically what I'm saying is just, especially if you're dealing with an air sign, I will say, especially if you're dealing with a Gemini, but any air sign, I would say just use caution on your communication there. In the past, you have the Chariot as well as the World. So the Chariot is all about victories, and it says that you can achieve a major victory through self-discipline. The World is a major completion. So in the past year, both of these cards are major arcanas. They're both extremely positive, and they're both heavily tied to the idea of success. So you've completed something very important here in the past. Okay, you've been extremely successful in something here in the past. In terms of areas, both of these are travel cards, and I know that sounds a little strange, but there could have been, some of you may have successfully moved here in the past. Some of you, I think, also have really gotten down to business and been extremely disciplined in your pursuit of a goal or some type of outcome in probably your career life, but it could be any area of your life here. And you really closed out a cycle. You really completed something important. Okay, so I'm talking here, you have this Queen of Swords focus energy, plus this idea of major success being closed out here in the past, or closing out here in the past, a chapter ending type of deal. But this is around a victory for you. And, I think you've been self-disciplined. I think you've been focused. I think you've been in pursuit of a goal. And it would not surprise me to hear if some of you have completed something actually extremely important here in the past. In the future, you have the Two of Swords and the Queen of Wands. It's just really interesting because I just have this inclination to read these cards together like this, because you don't see the Two of Swords in between two queens very often, and so just keep that in mind. I think the Queen of Wands could be you showing up. That could be any fire sign, and then I think some of you are dealing with like somebody who's an air sign or somebody who has air-like quality. So remember that the natal chart is wide. Just because someone is like, let's say they're a Taurus sun sign, they could have like a bunch of air placements. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, so the Two of Swords can be a war of words, okay? It can be, I always like to say that these can be like emotional daggers being thrown between two people, the swords that they're holding here. And so it can come forward when maybe there's a little bit of like, you're feeling restricted in speech, or someone said something to you where you're just like, what do I even say to them? Like, how do I even respond to that? Like, you're just at a loss for words type of deal when you get the Two of Swords. I would take a moment before I would pause and take a moment before you speak, because during Mercury retrograde times, it's very easy to say something that we later regret. And this is my big caution to you, particularly if you're dealing with an air sign, or if you find yourself in a bit of a tussle, if you will, a communication argument, or whatever the case may be here. I would absolutely say that. The Queen of Wands, though, on a different level, because I want to try to steer the boat around here and make this positive. The Queen of Wands is really somebody who can attract whatever it is that they want into their life. In this case, if you're not dealing with a person, I would say, since we have this idea of being restricted in speech here with the Two of Swords, make sure you are not speaking to yourself poorly or speaking to yourself in an unhelpful way. With the Two of Swords showing up here and the Queen of Wands, part of doing like the law of attraction and attracting abundance into your life is speaking to yourself in a positive way. So I would also take a look at that. Let's go ahead and let's move up the pyramid here. Let's see what else we have. So you have the Seven of Swords, Six of Swords, interesting, or maybe not interesting. You have the Page of Pentacles, and you also have the Three of Cups here. I say maybe not interesting because Swords is all about communication, and so it makes sense. Does not surprise me here to see this. So it's all about communication, and the Seven of Swords into the Six of Swords, that's an interesting situation, isn't it? Because both of those cards come one after the other. Seven of Swords, Three of Cups. You have both of these cards together now. They're in the same layer here. And the idea between this combination is gossip, okay? The Seven of Swords on its own could literally mean betrayal or backstabbing or cheating even. The Seven of Swords, Three of Cups could be a third-party situation. That is the combination you look for. Three of Cups on its own is not a third-party situation, but when you get it with something like the Seven of Swords, it is. And so, for some of you, there might be another person involved here. Whether you're here and your main concern is romantic relationships, or it's some other relationship, like maybe a relationship to a family member or a relationship to a friend or a colleague, there might be another person involved here in this situation. Seven of Swords, though, in the past, because I'm just trying to see here. Remember, we have this big success here in the past with the Chariot, the World. Now we have the Seven of Swords, Six of Swords. I think some of you have really worked in maybe challenging conditions in the past, and I think despite the challenging conditions, you have created a game plan for yourself and you've executed on this game plan. as a result, you've gone through this transition to a new place with the Six of Swords. Six of Swords is another travel card. So it's possible that some of you moved away from, you know, maybe an environment that was less than great, but the Six of Swords says that you're going through a major life transition, or you have been here in the past. The Page of Pentacles is some type of healthy prospect or good prospect in your life. It says that there are opportunities in abundance for you now, or there will be here in the future. You know, here's the thing about gossip. It's a really negative energy. Just realize that if you are caught up in a web of gossip, that's other people's insecurities. Okay, gossip is other people's insecurities. And I'm sure you have gossiped, everybody's gossiped at one time in their life. And if you look back at the times where you've engaged in that type of energy, you would probably be real with yourself and say, you know what, I was kind of feeling a little bit insecure about myself at that time. So just recognize that, you know, there might be a little bit of like separation that you need to have from a person here. And yeah, I want to get some more details on what this opportunity is, but let's go ahead and let's take a look at these 3 oracle cards first. So you have Horus, Cosmic Gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Share gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. And then you also have Krishna, devotion. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. I really feel like some of you are on this solo path that some people don't understand. Like, I think that you're kind of doing something that you know is working for you, or you can see the outcome when other people can't. And I think that you've been laser focused on this situation for some time. I also think this idea of experiencing grace is extremely important for you. I think grace does need to be had here in a connection in your life, or in a situation between you and someone else here. I think there's a little grace would really go a long way for you here at this time. And it's possible that the other person does not have any grace at all. And so you could be the bigger person, so to speak, at this time. Yeah. Also, aligning your thoughts here, extremely important, as I talked about. Do not speak to yourself in a negative way, because that's going to really hinder you at this time. Let's go ahead and move up the pyramid here. If you're enjoying this video so far, please do hit that like button and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow in a big way. So wow, you have the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. A very nice energy here for you, Sagittarius. So there is absolutely an abundance of opportunity here coming in for you. I wanted to get clear on what this Page of Pentacles is. Some of you have moved away from someone that just was not in alignment here with the 3 of Cups and then these 2 queens with the 2 of Swords in between. Some of you have moved along here. I would just ask you, have you completely moved along? Because if you have, if you can be honest with yourself and say, okay, I'm done with this person, there's another person available. There's a 4th person here. I know we only have 3 court cards, but I'm saying that, like, there was a third-party situation that you were dealing with, or there was another person involved, but now there's this other person here with the Knight of Cups. And, you know, for some of you, this could be romantically related or connected in some way. You could absolutely, if you're single and you're looking for love, or if you've even been talking with someone and you're like, what's going on? You know, you could absolutely get some, you could either find somebody if you're single, somebody could come in, or you could get some, like an update or some progress on like what's going on with me and this other person. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups is, both of these cards are major abundance cards, like major abundance cards. You can see here on the cards that there, in both of these cards, there is this symbolism of like a group of people, presumably a family. Both of these are family cards as well, around like a harvest of food. Food is, you know, in tarot, when you get food, it relates to this idea of sustenance and harvest as well. And those things are both major abundance cards. So you have something really nice coming in here, provided, you know, you work through whatever happened here with this Queen energy. Let's see what else we have going on. So you have the King of Swords and you have the Ace of Wands. So, you know, here's a counterpart, right? King and Queen of Swords are counterparts in the tarot. I definitely feel like there is a counterpart available somewhere out there. This could feel very good with the Ace of Wands next to it. Ace of Wands is a passionate new beginning, a passionate relationship energy, but really the Ace of Wands is a bigger card for starting a business, starting a side hustle, going for something, getting physically started on something, and getting fired up and really going for it. At the top of the pyramid, you have the Hierophants. The Hierophant is anything that is traditional. And so the reality is that I feel like you are not living a traditional life. And I mean that in a good way. And I think some of you here are breaking free of tradition, and you're doing what feels comfortable to you. On the bottom of the deck, you have the Four of Cups. There's an opportunity, okay? So Sagittarius, there's an opportunity available to you in love or in another area of your life. And for some of you, this will be business related. Make sure you do not miss out on it. So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe. I will see you in the next video.